Cloud. All right, we are recording. Let me just go live on our Facebook stream here. And okay, it looks like we are. Yep, we got it live and streaming on Facebook. Hello, social media world. You know what time it is, right? Because you've been following this page long enough that you know every month we are bringing to you some of the best nutritional information, advice, guidance, whatever you want to call it. It's right here on this page, and it is Food with Strength. Ryan is here to join us right now. But before I let you dive in, Ryan, I'm just going to bring attention to a couple of things real quick. Number one, Going Beyond the Pink is getting ready to launch the most amazing project. Keep your eyes peeled on this page. September 30th, you don't want to miss this. It's going to blow your socks off. That's all I'm telling you for now. And just to let you know, we do have a lot of events coming up, obviously, with Breast Cancer Awareness Month right around the corner. We want to do more than just be aware of breast cancer. We want to make a real impact right here in our community. We're already doing so with your help. So if you want to join us, come out to any one of those events. You will find them all on our events page right here on Facebook. All right, I'm going to hush up and turn it over to Ryan. We've got an exciting night of eggs ahead of us.
All right. Thanks, Kara. Thanks for the intro, and congratulations on all the big, amazing things that Going Beyond the Pink has coming up, especially with October coming up, and October being the wonderful Breast Cancer Awareness Month that it is. And then on top of that, but getting more to what we're kind of talking about today, breast cancer, everybody knows somebody that has it, and you might have a lot of questions yourself, people that are out there listening, for some of your friends or for your family members or you yourself. And if that's the case, if you have any nutrition questions or any of those things, just head on over to foodwithstrength.com, and you can click the contact us link there, and you can fill out the form. We're happy to talk back and forth with you anytime that you have any questions. And like Kara said, my name is Ryan. I'm Ryan Leach. I'm one of the registered dietitians and owners of Food with Strength. My wife, Susannah Leach, she'll be joining us later. She's also a registered dietitian and the other owner of Food with Strength. And we just want everybody to empower everybody to live their best life and have the best relationship with food that they can. And in that, and inside the cancer realm, one of the biggest things that I hark on all the time with people that have cancer is protein. Protein is so important, so quintessential. And people hear about this all the time. There's a lot of different things that it does. But really, when we're thinking about cancer and its role, the biggest piece that it helps is making sure to preserve your muscle mass. And people typically think, when they think about muscle mass, they're thinking about skeletal muscle, which would be the muscle that's like your biceps, your triceps, that kind of thing. But really, when we're thinking about the muscle mass that it helps preserve, we're talking about organ tissue, which is a different kind of muscle mass. And if you're losing weight really rapidly, like if you lose weight really, really fast, the chances are that a lot of that weight that you're losing is coming from a source of protein in your body, whether it be skeletal muscle or organ tissue. And that is where the concern comes in. And so one of the things that we can help do and mitigate that is making sure that we're consuming enough protein. But protein doesn't just play a role in maintaining our lean muscle mass. One of the other things that it helps do is it helps provide additional calories so that you're getting the energy that you need from it. It helps with our fluid balance, which is very hard for people going through cancer treatment and radiation therapy, making sure that you're balancing out that fluid. You don't want to end up with issues like you end up with lymphedema, those kind of things. You want to make sure that you're getting enough protein in to help balance that out and control where all that fluid's going. And then it also does a lot of different cellular reactions. One of the things that I always talk to doctors about, which seems to light a light bulb in their head, is that every reaction in your body occurs because of the food that you ate creates things in your body. And so protein creates those different pieces that help conjoin things and create reactions. So that way, if you are taking an oral chemotherapy or an IV chemotherapy, when it goes in, it starts triggering the different pieces in your body. It works best if you are eating well. All those drugs still work, they all work. But if you're not eating well, they don't work as effectively as they could. So we want to make sure that they are giving you the best chance to survive and thrive after your treatment's over. And then the other thing too, if you are losing your muscle mass and you're losing weight and you're not able to keep up with that, if you lose about 10% of your body weight, so whatever your weight is from your start of your treatment, if you lose 10%, we have to completely change your treatment. The whole treatment plan changes, because then it's everything they're doing is weight-based. All the chemotherapy, the radiation, all of that is a weight-based thing. And so if they can't give you the same level of stuff because your weight has changed, then we have to work on changing some things out there.
I made it.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
You have the cutest new dude too. Rocking it. I love it.
Your hair is different too. It's lighter. It's much lighter.
Lighter and
It's darker underneath.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Okay,
Sorry, we're this is a different kind of protein that we're talking about.
I was gonna say it's protein still. I was just gonna say that. There you go. Sorry. Keep going, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is Susannah.
Hi. Since I got here in time, that means I get to talk about some of this stuff too.
Oh yeah, Susanna's the much smarter of the two of us, but she did a lot more work specifically with protein than I have.
I don't remember it.
That's not true.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
But either way, so that's kind of how that supports you getting through your chemotherapy and your radiation, making sure that you're able to maintain your body mass, especially the muscle mass. And so that kind of gets more into what we were talking about with earlier, is that there's a lot of different foods that have protein in it.
Let's talk about how much first. Can we talk about how much first? Like how much protein is enough?
How much protein is in it?
How much is enough?
And then,
Okay, we can talk about the foods that have it. Either way is fine. Well, we need to talk about both of them. But I like to talk about what foods have protein and how to select those foods. So can I do that one?
sure.
Okay, so protein is important. What foods have them, right? So the protein foods that are primarily protein are meat, all meat, right? So oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm like looking at Kara. Okay, so meat. So that's any red beef, chicken, turkey, any type of poultry, fish, dairy, and eggs. And then that's animal-based protein. And then there's another umbrella, which is plant-based protein. And so that's going to be things like legumes and beans, like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, and then soybeans. So animal-based and plant-based. And there are some general rules, I think, to keep in mind when you're trying to make a decision about what type of protein to have, even within those categories. So I'm thinking mostly about animal-based protein because the protein that you can get from them is really, really good for you. It's a really, it's a high quality protein. And what that means is that it's got everything that it needs in it. So we'll talk a little bit more about what that means when we get to plant proteins. But animal protein has, along with it, saturated fat, which is the type of fat that's not great for your heart health. So we try to minimize that as much as possible by going for the leanest options of animal-based protein. So any type of fish or shellfish, you're going to be in the clear. Eggs are great. Dairy should be low fat or fat-free is what I would recommend. And then when it comes to things like poultry, your best bet is to look for things that are boneless and skinless, and preferably breast or thigh. The breast is going to be a little bit leaner than the thigh. And then also beef or pork. These items have keywords. So look for anything that has loin or tenderloin in it. That's going to be, or sirloin. Those are going to be your leanest options for beef and pork. And then of course you can get all of the meats ground. So any type of meat that's ground, the most important thing to look at in terms of getting the most protein bang for your buck and minimizing saturated fat is the percentage that's on the package. So as a guideline, I like to encourage people to go for 90% lean or leaner, regardless of what it is.
That first number, when you look at the ground meat.
Make the big number bigger, as big as you can, and the smaller number as small as you can. So that's the ratio of lean protein in the package to fat in the package for those wondering at home. You guys probably knew that. So anyway,
So
that's animal protein.
right,
Should we talk about plant protein?
we can talk a little bit about
A little bit about plant protein. Plant protein is a little trickier. It's different because it's from a plant, but also the macronutrients that are in plant proteins are different. I think we're going to be joined by a 2-year-old here in a second.
Oh, is Jackson here?
He's got no shirt on. He's a mess. So plant proteins are, you may have heard the terms complementary proteins, and we won't deep dive into the building blocks of proteins, but basically protein foods are made up of amino acids, and plant proteins don't have a full array of amino acids, and animal proteins do. So if you need to get all of them, you need to get the full array of amino acids from the protein that you eat. So if you eat an animal protein, you're in the clear. If you eat plant protein, you need to make sure that they complement each other. That will be we'll have that conversation maybe another day and time. But another thing to consider, especially if you're thinking like, okay, what's the big picture of my nutrition, not just the protein part of my nutrition. Plant proteins are much higher in carbohydrates. So animal proteins have virtually none. They have no carbohydrate in them really at all. And plant proteins do, they tend to be very starchy in addition to having some protein, not quite as much, and lots of dietary fiber. So all good things, like not bad. It's just important to note when making decisions about your overall diet composition. Did I hit everything?
I think so. Did we talk about soy?
Oh yeah, let's talk about soy. That's always something people ask about.
I'm not as brave to talk about, so we should talk about it. So we have, I don't know as much about cancer or breast cancer as Ryan does. So this was a learning moment for me, but what I learned is that the estrogen-like compounds that you find in soy foods are not detrimental and don't have an effect. They don't have an effect on estrogen levels in the body. They don't have an effect on estrogen levels in the body. And as a matter of fact, they might even help to increase the effectiveness of estrogen reducing drugs that are often given to patients who have had breast cancer.
Right, and that's whole soy. So not like soy isolate is like a soy protein powder. Yeah. That doesn't count.
So like soybeans, edamame, tofu, is tempeh soy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those types of products, and soy milk, right? Like soy milk is also a popular item. And I don't know. I got to be honest. Do you know if like soy in other foods, right? Well, so like soybean oil, I'm assuming would probably be fine.
Yeah, soy that's fine. The science, the things that she's talked about with that is kind of more. It might be all of the things in soy that helps with that estrogen modulator.
Oh, okay. So it's best to get it in its full form. So
if you get it in its full form, that would be the best. But if you get it to the point where it's just broken down, it's the protein of soy, they know that actually doesn't.
It doesn't help it. It doesn't help the effectiveness of the estrogen limiting medication. Right. Okay, got it. Yes. So, and I would encourage whole food forms as close to like the original form as possible anyway, and kind of in general across the board, right? Right. Yeah. So that rule still applies to soy.
Yeah. So then we were going to talk about how much. Now you know all the foods that have protein in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So for people that have cancer or going through cancer treatment, you generally need a higher amount of protein because of the effect of cancer and chemo and radiation, where it breaks your body down rapidly. We've talked about this before, but anytime you have cancer, your calorie needs increase, and also your protein needs increase. Right. And so you need to get more of those things. And it's not like a massive amount of more. No, it's not like if you were eating 2,000 calories, you suddenly need to eat 4,000. I'm not saying that there aren't certain treatments that could cause that to happen, but for the general population of people going through breast cancer treatment, you would go up from like 2,000 to 2,250 or 2,500. Like it's only a small jump.
But it is more.
But it is more. So if you were starting your cancer treatment and you normally eat 2,500 calories a day, you need to eat a little bit more, or at least continue eating 2,500. A lot of people will suddenly switch to going on a diet or something like that when they start cancer treatment because they're trying to get better. And I go, that's fine. I don't have anything against you switching some things up. You just got to make sure you're keeping up with enough to keep your body going well. Our oven's preheated now.
Yay. Okay, so how much protein do you need? It's individualized. It's calculated on an individual basis. So if you would like to figure it out, I'll give you a second to get your calculator, so you can figure it out for yourself. But it's always a gram per kilogram of body weight rate for protein in general. So for folks who are undergoing chemo or people who have breast cancer, it's 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. If you are not,
can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah.
1 gram of protein.
1 to 1.5 grams. It's a range. I like ranges. There's some wiggle room, right? So you're not like, oh my gosh, if I don't get 100 grams of protein per day, it's not good. You have a range, like you've got a range to work in. So 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And quick and easy to get from pounds to kilograms, you just take your weight and divide it by 2.2. So your weight, so if you want to do it backwards, start with your weight, because you probably may know that, divide it by 2.2. And then to get the lower end of the range, multiply that number by 1 itself. And the upper end of the range, multiply that number by 1.5. And that'll give you the range of grams of protein to eat in the day.
But
Thank you. Get that in the comments.
if you don't have that time for the conversion, it's about 0.5 to 0.7 grams per pound of body weight.
So good. I've never taken time to figure out what it is.
So that's what it equates to. So you'll see lots of other people like 1 gram per pound. That's excessive
That's
and not
lot.
necessary.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But 0.5 to 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. If you're thinking about 0.5 to 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight is going to be enough.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So, and that kind of brings me, I won't go down like a huge tangent. More is not necessarily more, right? Like you want to make sure that you get enough, but if you're getting way more than you need, you're not necessarily doing a whole world of good. You might not be doing a ton of harm either, but it's not necessarily going to benefit you. And high protein diets, honestly, I don't think are really that delicious. So you might not be enjoying yourself, but very much I feel serious.
Yeah. Just like a small thing, like we're talking about high protein things and protein foods. They're like the foods that we mentioned earlier that we consider to be protein foods. They're higher fat components. Like if we're thinking pork tenderloin,
oh yeah,
bacon does not count as a protein.
Right.
Bacon is fat.
I forgot to mention that.
So like
yeah,
that goes the opposite direction. When you're looking at bacon, if we were talking about ground meat earlier with the higher number on ground meat is lean meat.
right.
The higher number on bacon would be fat, right? So it's not the same. The opposite ends.
Oh, I didn't realize even that bacon had a number.
No, it doesn't. But if it did, that's what it would be.
Okay, I get it now. I understand what you're saying.
Well, listen, I'll add this on. The prices of bacon are increasing exponentially because even at the discount grocers locally, it's $7.50 for a pound of bacon right now. So I can imagine at the other stores that it's probably, $8.50 or $9 at this point. I don't think that's going to be a big diet staple for a while.
Maybe it's because everybody's trying to do keto.
Well, or
They're
because
just banging on everybody getting too much fat.
Yeah. There's also a lot of like logistics stuff going on and trends, all the things, but yeah, definitely. I'm sure this popularity hasn't hurt it.
Right. So maybe I don't have to worry about, but yes, I forgot that is a question that we get. Like, where does bacon go and where does sausage go in the protein group of food choices? And it just goes in sparingly. Like it goes in, I would not call it an everyday food. I would call it an every once in a while food. So both of those, bacon and sausage, and maybe for your health, but also for your pocketbook these days. So,
yeah, apparently both.
So, okay, awesome. Where are we at? Bring me back to focus. What were we talking about? Grams of protein.
Well, I'll make a terrible segue. So since you're talking about bacon and sausage,
Don't do it.
what about that's every once in a while, but if we're thinking about timing of protein in a day,
Right.
right? So we're thinking about how do we get it, when do we get it, why do we get it? So how does that work? Timing for your protein.
Timing for your protein, right. Well, so we just talked about getting a number for yourself, right?
Right.
It's important at the end of the day to hit within that range, to eat enough protein that you're eating the grams that are in that range of protein every day.
Yeah.
Because it starts over. Okay,
Right.
so that's another tangent. We're going on some branches, don't let us go too far. So it starts over every day. So you store fat, you store carbohydrate to a certain extent, you don't really store protein. Anything that you don't get during a day, you can't draw on stores of protein in your body because it's getting used for something. So if you're drawing on stores, you're taking it from somewhere where it's being used, like your muscles in your body. And so if you don't get enough, it's not great. If you get more than you need, it doesn't transfer over to the next day. So you have to like start at 0 every single day. So that's one thing. So the take home message there is get enough protein each day. It can be difficult you don't need to eat protein spaced in a certain amount throughout the day because
Right.
it's just important to get to the total amount, but it can be difficult to do that if you aren't making a concerted effort to have protein at each meal. So timing of protein throughout the day, I would just say it's easiest, I think, to try and make sure that you're getting a serving at all of your meals, or if you can't get a serving at all of your meals, at most of your meals, then maybe have a snack that has protein in it. Does that answer?
Yeah, and I'll use myself as the example.
Yeah.
I need around 126 grams of protein a day.
Right.
Right. So if I did that all in hamburger patties at dinner,
Yeah.
I would have to consume close to 1.25 pounds of beef.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, you can't get everything you need at a single meal. It's really going to be easier for you if you spread it out.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We were actually counting up protein grams today when we were talking about this, because there is a kind of like a commonly stated thing. At least I've heard it a lot as a dietitian. A typical American diet, it's not likely that somebody's going to be lacking in protein. And I was looking back over my day and I was just thinking, like, if I don't make an effort to get something that is really high in protein at breakfast or at least lunch, like one of the two meals has got to be pretty decently high in protein, and dinner, right? Like one of the two, and then dinner and on top of that, at least those two meals, I might not hit, like, I'll try to get in the range, but like by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah. Most Americans consume the majority of their protein at dinner. And so that's kind of the thing. A lot of people that they'll say they get enough because they get something at lunch and dinner. But if you're eating a really nutrient rich diet, so you're eating a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables, that is really filling. And sometimes for those people that do that, it becomes harder to consume a full amount of protein sources just because it's difficult. You're eating a lot of food, a lot of high fiber food there that's going to digest a little bit slower. But and so one of the ways that you can make sure that you get protein in is by trying to have some source of protein at every meal.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about today, that's on the thing, is actually eggs, right? So we're talking about eggs, and specifically we're thinking about, you can use them in a variety of ways. You can do them tons of different ways, but
I was just gonna say to Ryan, it's getting the protein, but also taking the time to prepare it, right? I'm like, oh, the reason that my lunch protein is lacking sometimes is because I don't take time to prepare it. So that is like an excellent segue to what we decided to do as our food demo tonight. It's like a quick, make a lot of protein at once, and you can have it for a couple of days. So you can prepare it, it's there, it's ready. You can have it as part of your meal. You can have it as a snack. And prepare me for this transition that we're about to make.
Wait, can I ask a question really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so I hear a lot about how, when you're exercising, it burns calories, you're burning all the things, right? And in a world, like if you're tracking macros or whatever, you're really paying attention to and monitoring what you're eating and tracking all of that. A lot of these apps out there have this option where it lets you like account for all the exercise and everything you did, where it drops those numbers down. So that protein goal, like say my protein goal was 125, if I'm doing a lot of workout, does that actually affect my needs or?
Yes. So actually, Ryan, you're probably a better person to save me if I go wrong, but
I'm gonna turn the light on. It's gonna change in here.
it's gonna change in here. Ryan's gonna turn the light on. Here we are, bright and shiny. So yes, your protein needs will go up if your activity goes up. And I have always come at it by thinking about it as your energy needs are gonna go up. Like if you're exercising, you're breaking down your muscle. And so you're going to need enough and additional protein to rebuild that muscle efficiently. If you're not getting enough, so I feel like this is maybe I learned this from you. It feels like very gym bro-ish, like you're not going to rebuild that muscle, man. If you're not,
yeah.
But that is
better. Yeah.
It's a really good, that seems like a really good, like applicable concept to patients who have cancer and patients who are undergoing chemotherapy and radiation, because it's very, what's the word I'm looking for, catabolic.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, my favorite patients to work with are people with cancer and athletes, because I don't really have to change what I'm talking about because it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah. So if your energy goes up and like the breakdown of things is increasing, which happens with cancer or with exercise, your protein needs will go up.
Yeah. Cancer is more catabolic, meaning it breaks things down. Exercise is a mixture of catabolism and anabolism. So you're breaking and building.
Exercise.
Right.
Yes.
So that's where it gets a little bit different. But either way, for both of them, because of how catabolic cancer is, the needs are about the same.
Did we answer your question about?
You did. And I just I need to mark this for all of the world to hear, that I think that in some way I was just compared to an athlete.
You were. Woo!
First time ever, y'all. Just let's mark that down. And all you cancer patients out there just heard that, right? Okay. Yes, you did. Thank you. That was really wonderful. So yeah, just like that, the needs go up.
Yeah. So I mean, it is the truth. I don't have any, like all the things that you hear us talk about in all these videos, I would talk about the same thing with athletes. Like you still need that incredible macronutrient profile, which is the protein that we're talking about, good source of carbohydrates, a good source of healthy fats. And then you also need all of the micronutrients in there, which is your fruits and your vegetables have the largest amount of them, right?
Right,
so,
your minerals and vitamins.
Yeah, your vitamins, minerals, and all of those things. And then also you have plenty of fluid needs because you're using it more fluid. An athlete might be using more fluid because they're running or being active. You have cancer and it's like
being active.
It's like
running and being active.
It's like kind of having a mild fever all the time.
Which also increases your fluid and protein.
Increases your fluid and protein needs.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of the thing. It's like a small fire burning inside of you, but not like your spirituality. That's a different thing. Either way. So we have some stuff over here. I'm going to change the camera angle a little bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we brought our food. I do actually want to pose a question to all of the people out there, and I want to preface this. So we'll do this, but before we totally get into it, we're making eggs, right? Which is how I do a lot of health coaching for folks who are primarily focused on weight loss. And so protein is important there too. Protein is important for weight loss as well. And I can almost count down backwards to the day where people will tell me I'm done with eggs. Like I'm so sick of eggs because there's not a lot of protein options for breakfast. And I'm like, yep, I can think eggs. If you're a dairy person, you can do like cottage cheese or yogurt. A lot of people are like not going to do cottage cheese. You could do a protein supplement to kind of keep things switched up and make it appropriate at breakfast time, right? We did smoothies last time, so that would be like an example of that. But my question to you, because this is totally a coach move, right, is what other than eggs, how else can you get protein into your breakfast meal in a creative way that is tasty and healthy and helps meet your protein goals? I would just like to pose that question to the universe because
I'm putting that out here. Other than eggs.
I don't talk about eggs. Eggs are great. Ryan, I think, probably went 2 years in a row for his life. The first 2 years of our marriage, I think he had eggs every single morning for breakfast. literally for years in a row. So
I was bigger than I am now.
my
right?
mom
So,
was like so amazed. Like,
yeah, it is the funny thing. I ate around 4.25 times more eggs than the average American over that
so many eggs.
2-year span.
Wow.
And they're good for you. You can have the whole thing.
Yeah, I have like 4 every day.
You can have the whole egg. You can have the whites and the yolk. The yolk does have cholesterol in it. Dietary cholesterol is not going to increase your blood levels of cholesterol, right? So it does not. Your refined sugars and saturated fat are more likely to do that. And lots of really healthy minerals and vitamins and healthy sources of fat, like healthy fat in the yolk of an egg. So if you like the yolk, eat it. If you don't, that's fine too. You don't have to. So you can do this with egg beaters, but I'm going to get into it.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So we're making ham and egg cups. We sprayed a muffin tin with cooking spray, and I'm going to line them with 2 pieces of ham. Let me tell you about this ham really quick. So I bought this. I was looking for something in particular. I was looking for a particular brand, but I couldn't find it. So what I ended up picking up, you guys always stretch me because I learn about new products when we do things like this. I picked up Hormel. It's a Hormel brand ham. It's natural. It's their natural choice line.
Okay.
And I was like, right, it's in the brown cardboard box, like it's been recycled. That's very tricky. So I turned it over and I looked at the ingredients list, and it's just what I looked at is the ingredients for the solution, right? It is a processed meat. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But the ingredients for the solution is actually pretty benign to me. All of the things I recognize, which is a fine rule of thumb to go by. But it's got water and salt in it. It's got some sugar because I think it's a honey ham. No, it's smoked, but it's got some sugar in it. And then it's got spices. It's got celery powder and it's got cherry powder, which I bet is actually probably for the color. And salt. So salt and salt. So it is very salty, but it doesn't have any like preservatives in it. It's got natural preservatives in it. Actually, cherry is probably a natural preservative too, because those are really high antioxidant things. So lots of natural.
So none of the nitrates and stuff that we normally see in a lot of those meats.
Exactly. And it really does like advertise that it doesn't have any nitrates in it. I looked at the ingredients list and it does not have any nitrates or nitrites, no nitrates or nitrates. And so I thought, yeah, I'll share this with you guys. So you might be wondering, like, why are you using processed meat? You just told me to eat the whole food. I did. I told you to eat the whole food. And so like getting a lean version of pork, like a pork with a loin meat is probably going to be a healthier option on like a daily basis. So I would say if you're going to make these every single day and eat them every single day for 2 years, like Ryan would have,
I would not have had that.
You might want to think about like being really picky about the type of ham that you're picking up, right? If you're not going to do this every day, you probably don't even need to go so far as to find something that you could just pick up like normal. It doesn't have to be organic. You could pick up whatever your preferred brand and type of ham is, and nobody's going to judge you because it's not every day, it's every once in a while. But if you are going to do this often, I would maybe be a little choosier about it.
Let's do 3 and 3.
3 and 3. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to do them without ham too.
All right. So let's slide over.
So back to the recipe. Ryan wants to do this. So we're going to do a couple of them lined with ham. You don't have to do that at all. You could just do them as just eggs baked. We're going to put them in a 400-degree oven and we're going to bake them for 15 minutes. If you decide not to do it with the ham, I would not do it for 15 minutes. I would do it for 13 or 14. What I like about the 400 degrees and the 15 minutes is that the yolk is, you'll see, it's set, it's not runny. So if you like a runny yolk, you might want to do it less time. Like I would decrease the time 1 minute at, 1 minute per cooking session until you got it the way you want it. But 15 minutes, I think, is a perfect yolk because it's set, but it's not like that really dry, pale yellow color. I feel that is not the right type of yolk. I feel like it needs to be bright and yellow, but not oozing. That's my preference. I don't know. How does everybody else prefer their eggs?
I am definitely a well done egg kind of girl, and everybody thinks I'm crazy for it.
You should do it for 16 minutes then.
Yeah, I'm definitely leave it for longer kind of person. But I'll tell you that I recently started having eggs from a friend's farm, and the difference in taste for me has been incredible. So I find that I like them better when I'm getting them right from her. And I don't know if it's like the yolks are darker and they just the taste is just different. It's better. So I've really been appreciating that. And for all my local friends, I'll say that give it a few months, but she'll probably be open up a farm stand out in the Leland Northwest area. And you could probably jump on and follow Huckleberry Grove Farms while you're at it and see all the prep work they're doing and building their farm.
I love that.
So you can do other things here, like you can add seasonings that you want. I would not recommend adding salt. That's gonna
ham, right?
Well, I mean,
Right.
either of them, if you add salt right now, that's gonna dry it out a little bit more, and that's gonna change your cooking time a little bit. So
Yeah, so add it
you
after
gotta
if
you
you
can
want
add
to.
it later if you want to.
But the ham is salty, guys, I'm telling you. Okay, I'm gonna move this away and put it in the oven, and with the power of modern technology, Ryan has got a plated example to share with you.
So there we go.
Oh, yummy.
Because the plate is so white, but you can see this is the one without ham, obviously, and this is one with ham, right? So we cooked these earlier. I have a fork and a knife here. Let's turn here. So we cut this. I'll cut straight through the yolk. So this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like this is this nice light yellow. It's not super. Unfortunately, our lighting is terrible in here, but it's not all the way cooked through. But still,
it is cooked. It's not runny though.
nice and tasty.
Yummy. I love it. What was the temperature for the oven?
400.
400. Oven. I'm just gonna write this down so nobody misses it. At 400 degrees.
You like him? Do you like him? I'm asking you. You do like ham. That's not what you said this morning.
You like green eggs and ham?
Yeah.
Hey Drexel, let me come on and say hi. Drexel, do you love eggs and ham?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk a little bit louder.
Was he that? No.
No.
Okay.
We went to the Copperhead race.
Oh, we went to the Copperhead race. We went to a cross country race and we went, it's called the Copperhead.
Yeah, it's a 5K relay. And don't you guys do something with the Southern Tour Ultra? Are you guys with that, or is that just no? Okay. There's a series of relay races in the Wilmington area. They're all fun to be a part of. You can find them online. We do the Copperhead Relay and the Southern Tour Ultra every year. Both of them are relay races where you run a specified distance and hand a baton to the next person and then they run. And so your collected time is your team time. And so we, Drexel's gone to 3, I think now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gone to 3.
Yeah.
He's grown up.
Going
to races.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to model for him though. Maybe he'll get really into it when he's bigger.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
He does like to run.
Yeah, he's like, I want to run. I'm like, okay.
And then he usually falls.
Yeah, or he sits down and says, I'm taking a break.
He
now.
does. Anyway, okay.
Awesome.
Anybody have any thoughts about something other than eggs and yogurt for breakfast? I'm just wondering.
I'm seeing.
Nothing. That's because.
No, Tawana said that she can't have eggs 2 days in a row, only one day, because if she has them too often, it upsets her stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I
Juan.
thought I saw somebody post about protein shakes. They like pure protein. I like those too. How do you guys feel about the protein shakes in the morning?
I'm so glad that you said something. So I think that you don't necessarily need to use a supplement to meet your protein needs. Like they won't probably be so astronomically high that you can't get there without just eating regular whole foods. But they are darn convenient. Like they are really convenient. And the like pure protein I'm familiar with, we like whey protein, isolate protein, just because it's a really efficiently absorbed form of protein. If you have lactose issues,
It doesn't have to be hydrolyzed or anything like that. Like if you're at the store and you're looking for a whey protein supplement, like a powder, as long as it says 100% whey protein, you're good to go.
I wouldn't have even known to think about hydrolyzed. So supplement, the long and short of it is, I think that supplements are awesome for convenience and for variety. Like it's like one of the three things that ends up happening as an item that I suggest for breakfast if you're trying to get enough protein at that meal, right? Because it's like eggs, or you can use protein shake, or you can have yogurt.
And full confession, I have a protein shake every morning with a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Because it's fast. It's like really fast and easy. Like you just throw it together and you shake it up and you run out the door with it. Or pure protein is a pre-made shake in a can.
Yeah.
Leave it
already done. And low in sugar, which I like that. I have to give them props for that. It tastes good and it's low in sugar, so that's nice.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, everybody has different kind of things here. I really enjoy Cinnamon Toast Crunch because I like the way it tastes and it meets all of my goals.
Well, and then Ryan's preferred protein supplement, I feel like since I've known you, has always been the Optimum Nutrition whey protein.
Yeah. I've had, I don't know how many various protein supplements.
Yeah, what brought you to that one?
In my span of time.
On this greener.
Yeah, so like from the time that I was 18 and moved out of my parents' house to now, I'm 35, I've had some kind of protein supplement almost every single day of my life since then.
Have you really?
Yeah.
No way.
I went from 142 pounds to 215 pounds, ate a lot.
He doesn't weigh 215 pounds right now.
No, I just weigh 185.
Which he's so sad about.
It is sad.
Because he's a gym bro body.
If I could get back to 200 pounds, I'd be him.
So what brought you to Optimum Nutrition?
I had a lot of different, through different companies, you can get various sample packs. And you can even get like an individual serving of different things. So like when you are ordering stuff, they'll give you like a discount to get extra stuff. So I would just fill up as many various flavors and individual servings as many different protein brands that could get. Because if you're consuming at that, so I said earlier that I need 126 grams of protein a day. Right now. Right. And so I was trying to get bigger. And so as you're trying to get bigger, if I was trying to get bigger right now, I would need closer to 135, 140 grams of protein, somewhere in there. And the bigger that you get, the more calories you need and the more protein you need. Right. So if you have to consume all of that, and when I was doing all of those things, we're talking about convenience, a supplement as a convenience. I had around 3 jobs. I was in school full time. I worked out once or twice a day, and I wrestled 3 to 4 times a week in different places around the Southeast. So I had a lot going on. So protein supplements were easy, but you can get burnt out real fast.
Yeah, I bet.
A protein supplement, especially a protein powder. And if you buy something that's 5 pounds, it's around 100 servings, you're going to be stuck with that for a long time.
So
Optimum Nutrition tasted the best.
Okay.
So you handle the most. And I'm at the point where like they used to sell this thing that was like it was like 24 packs of individual packs that were all their varieties of flavor. It was a big box and had different protein flavors or whatever. So that was great then. But now I always just buy the vanilla one. It mixes, they all mix really well and easy, but the taste isn't as in your face and overpowering as like when you start getting into like chocolate, that gets really specific. It's like this very chocolate, and a lot of chocolate protein powders are kind of chalky, in my opinion.
Yeah, like misses the mark on chocolate a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, it's like they tried too hard. But with
You can also mix the vanilla into things.
yeah, I was gonna say the thing with it's thinking about if you're making
You can mix it into oatmeal.
you can mix it into
You
oatmeal,
can
you
mix it
can
into a smoothie
you can mix it into
with any type of fruit.
yogurt,
Yeah.
smoothie,
Yeah.
all those things. It's kind of like vanilla when you use it in baking and other things helps bring out more flavors that are in those things. The vanilla in your protein powder is gonna help.
If I would go that far.
That's good. Yeah, you probably say.
Well, where do you
but-
get this complete or optimum? What did you say it was? I wrote it down. Optimum nutrition. Where do you get it?
You get it at Costco.
We get ours at Costco.
You can probably get it at like a GNC, or you could order it online. You can order it off of Amazon.
Yeah, you get it any supplement store. They're one of the biggest supplement companies. So
Brian also
Vitamin
likes
Shop.
Optimum Nutrition because it's NSF certified.
right, yeah. And so that's kind of we've talked about this before, but NSF is a third-party company. They do a lot of
Quality and
quality,
purity.
purity testing to make sure that
What's in
supplements in the United States are not regulated.
Right.
Right? So they could say that it has something in it and it doesn't have that at all, or they could say it has something in it and it has more of that amount. So this is kind of the thing where they're trying to say that whatever that label says that's in there, they guarantee is in there because it's NSF certified.
It's a third party, like
Yeah, it's not.
quality.
Yeah, they also certify a bunch of other stuff. If you're looking for a protein supplement, I would go to nsfsport.com and look at the things that are protein powders on there. Again, that's nsfsport.com. And all of those things, the reason why they're on that list is they're clarified to not have anything in it that's going to spike somebody on a test that's an athlete.
Right.
Right. So if you're trying if you want to be really mindful about like what you're putting in your body, remember we talked about how you guys are like athletes earlier, you should be also concerned about the supplements that you're putting in your body.
I also am like perfectly comfortable with like a pure Premier Protein.
Which is also on there.
Is it on there? Okay. I like Pure Protein and I like Premier Protein too. They're nice to me.
Yeah, both of them are on there.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's like when you start getting out there in the weeds of like, oh, this product is so cheap, there might be a concern.
right.
So,
Right.
Probably a
If it
reason
sounds
for
too good
that.
to be true, it might be too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
Like,
Wow. Well, that was super informative. I always learn so much. I always sit here thinking, oh, I know a lot about nutrition. And then y'all always blow me away with so much more. So I'm so grateful for that.
hey, well, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, we were just talking about it earlier. Like, we need something to talk about, which we're really excited next month. I don't want to totally give it away.
Oh yeah, next month I'm like pretty excited about.
Me too.
I told Ryan, we were, you know, he likes to do a couple of ideas at a time. And so when we were coming up with a couple of months worth of ideas, I was like, I have an idea for October. Is it stupid? And he was like, no, ask Kara. So we're excited about
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we'll get stuff
It's gonna be
together so that way we can all have fun at the same time. We're gonna be doing it. It's October.
You ever
It's
written
the
down-
third. It's the third Thursday.
I'm going there right now. Let me see. It's going to be on 1, 2, 3. It's actually the 4th Thursday, the 28th, October 28th.
28th. Right, perfect. It's just before Halloween. So, fun thing. Everybody needs a diet break at some point in your life.
That's enough. That's enough.
It's just before Halloween.
That's enough.
So,
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, what questions or what else? What else do we need to talk about today?
Oh, this was really awesome. I'm going to keep monitoring for additional comments and things too, and I'll let you guys know if anything pops up. But yeah, this is really incredible. It's so appreciate you guys.
We're happy to do it. We had a blast.
Of course, it's always fun.
Awesome.
But
All right. Well,
if you come in or people have anything you want to know, again, just go to foodwithstrength.com, click on the contact us page and send us an email. We're happy to answer those questions. See what we can do to help you out.
Totally.
that sounds great. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night. And I'm just going to sign us off of Facebook here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.